Single Mom's Journey, Building a Strong House for a Brighter Future. The moment the bulldozer crashed through the living room wall, sending plaster and memories flying in equal measure, Maya Wilson knew her life had reached its breaking point. Standing in the rain with her 2 children clutching her hands, watching as the home she'd fought to keep for 7 years was demolished due to a property developer's legal maneuver, she made a promise that would change everything. "We won't just rebuild. We'll build something stronger than they ever thought we could." What Maya couldn't have known as she wiped away her tears and straightened her shoulders was that this devastating moment would become the foundation for not just a new home, but a movement that would transform her community and inspire thousands of single mothers to reclaim their power, one brick at a time. If you're already feeling the weight of Maya's struggle and the spark of her determination, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more stories about ordinary people finding extraordinary strength in their darkest moments, and how sometimes losing everything is just the beginning of building something better than you ever imagined. Maya Wilson had never planned on being a single mother. At 34, she had imagined a different life than the one she was living. One that didn't involve working 2 jobs, stretching every dollar until it screamed, or explaining to her children why their father's child support checks were perpetually late, if they came at all. But life rarely follows our carefully laid plans. 7 years ago, when her husband Mark had announced he was leaving for his 23-year-old assistant, Maya had been 8 months pregnant with their second child. Their son, Ethan, had just turned 3. The betrayal had been devastating, but Maya had picked herself up and carried on, determined to create stability for her children despite the seismic shift in their family structure. The small 3-bedroom house in the aging neighborhood of Oakwood had been her sanctuary, the one thing she had insisted on keeping in the divorce. Mark had been eager to liquidate assets, and Maya had sacrificed her claim to retirement accounts and investments in exchange for full ownership of the modest home where Ethan had taken his first steps and where she had brought newborn Lily home from the hospital. For 7 years, she had made it work. The mortgage payments were steep, but manageable with her salary as an administrative assistant at the local community college, supplemented by weekend shifts at a catering company. The house itself was showing its age. The roof leaked in heavy rain, the ancient furnace struggled through winter, and the plumbing had a personality all its own, but it was theirs. A constant in the children's lives when so much else had changed. Until Oakwood Development Corporation had arrived with their plans to revitalize the neighborhood. At first, the letters had seemed innocuous. Offers to buy her property at market value, which Maya had promptly filed in the recycling bin. But then came the notices about code violations she couldn't afford to fix, the rezoning hearings she couldn't attend because of work, and finally, the devastating discovery that the city had condemned her property due to structural issues that somehow hadn't been a problem during the previous inspection. The legal battle had drained her savings and ended in defeat, which was how Maya found herself standing in the rain that gray Tuesday morning, 10-year-old Ethan and 7-year-old Lily beside her, watching as their home was reduced to rubble. "Mom," Lily's small voice broke through Maya's shock. "Where are we going to live now?" Maya looked down at her daughter's face, so like her own with those serious brown eyes and determined chin, and forced a reassuring smile. "We're going to stay with Aunt Jen for a little while, remember? Just until we figure things out." "But what about my room? And my books?" Lily's lower lip trembled. "And Mr. Whiskers?" The stuffed cat that had been Lily's constant companion since infancy had been left behind in the chaos of their hasty evacuation. Maya's heart sank. In the rush to gather essential documents and clothes, the beloved toy had been forgotten. "Oh, sweetie, I'm so sorry." "I got him, Mom." Ethan pulled the bedraggled gray cat from his backpack. "I went back for him while you were arguing with that man in the suit." Maya felt a surge of love for her son, whose quiet thoughtfulness often revealed itself in moments like these. "Thank you, Ethan. That was very kind." As Lily clutched Mr. Whiskers to her chest, Maya took one last look at what remained of their home. The bulldozer was making quick work of the structure, its mechanical arms swinging through walls that had once held family photos and height markers for growing children. "Come on," she said, taking each child by the hand. "Aunt Jen is waiting for us." The walk to her sister's apartment was only 15 minutes, but it felt like crossing a vast distance. From homeowner to homeless, from stability to uncertainty, from one chapter of their lives to another yet unwritten. Jennifer Chen opened her door before Maya could knock, enveloping her sister in a fierce hug. "I've been watching for you," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "I still can't believe they actually went through with it." "Neither can I," Maya admitted, the reality still sinking in as they entered Jen's small but tidy one-bedroom apartment. "We set up the pull-out couch for you," Jen explained, showing them the living room where a sofa bed had been made up with fresh sheets. "And I cleared out half my closet. The kids can take my room, and I'll bunk with you." "Jen, no, we can't put you out of your bedroom," Maya protested. "It's not negotiable," Jen said firmly. "Besides, it's temporary, right? Just until you find a new place." Maya nodded, though the prospect of finding affordable housing in their increasingly expensive city seemed daunting. The market value offered by Oakwood Development wouldn't go far, especially with rental prices soaring. "Kids, why don't you get settled in Aunt Jen's room?" Maya suggested. "I need to talk to her for a minute." Once Ethan and Lily had disappeared into the bedroom with their backpacks, Maya sank onto the sofa bed, the weight of the day finally crashing down on her. "I don't know what I'm going to do, Jen," she whispered, tears threatening. "I can't afford anything in this area, not with the way rents have skyrocketed. But if we move too far away, I'll lose my jobs, and the kids will have to change schools." Jen sat beside her, taking Maya's hand. "You'll figure it out. You always do. And you're not alone. You have me, and the kids have you. We'll get through this together." Maya squeezed her sister's hand gratefully. Jen had always been her rock, from childhood squabbles to teenage heartbreaks to the painful dissolution of her marriage. 5 years older and perpetually more practical, Jen approached problems with a clear-eyed determination that Maya had always admired. "I just feel like I've failed them," Maya admitted, glancing toward the bedroom where her children were quietly unpacking. "I promised I would always keep them safe, give them stability. And now we're homeless." "You haven't failed anyone," Jen said firmly. "You've been fighting against a system that's rigged against single parents, especially single mothers. What happened today wasn't because you didn't try hard enough. It was because corporations with deep pockets can bulldoze through people's lives if it means a profit." Maya knew her sister was right, but the knowledge did little to ease the hollow feeling in her chest. "I just need to figure out our next steps. I have that settlement check coming, but it won't go far." "Actually," Jen said, her expression shifting to something Maya couldn't quite read, "I might have an idea about that. Do you remember Carlos from my community development class?" Maya vaguely recalled a passionate man in his 50s who had come to one of Jen's dinner parties, talking animatedly about urban renewal and community land trusts. "The one with the great enchilada recipe?" Jen laughed. "That's him. He's running this innovative program now through the Riverside Community Action Network. It's called Build Up, and it helps low-income families become homeowners by participating in the construction of their own homes." "Construction?" Maya repeated skeptically. "Jen, I can barely hang a picture straight." "You don't need prior experience," Jen explained. "They provide all the training and professional supervision. The sweat equity reduces the cost, and they have special funding for single-parent households. Carlos mentioned they're starting a new project next month, 10 homes in the Riverside area." Maya considered this. Riverside was about 20 minutes from their current neighborhood, not ideal, but not impossible for her commute. And the thought of owning a home again, one that couldn't be taken away by corporate developers, was undeniably appealing. "I don't know, Jen. Building a house sounds overwhelming." "Just talk to Carlos," Jen urged. "He's holding an information session tomorrow night at the community center. What do you have to lose?" What indeed, Maya thought as she lay awake that night on the pull-out couch, listening to Jen's soft breathing beside her. Her home was already gone. Her savings were depleted. Her children were sleeping in borrowed beds. Perhaps it was time to build something new, in more ways than one. The Riverside Community Center was housed in a converted warehouse, its industrial exterior belying the warmth within. As Maya entered, Ethan and Lily trailing behind her, she was struck by the buzz of activity. People of all ages gathered in small groups, examining display boards and architectural models. "Maya, you made it." Jen waved from across the room, where she stood with a man Maya recognized as Carlos Rodriguez. With his salt and pepper beard and wire-rimmed glasses, he had the look of a professor, though his paint-splattered jeans and work boots suggested more hands-on experience. "This is my sister I was telling you about," Jen said as they approached. "Maya, this is Carlos Rodriguez, the director of Build Up. Jennifer has told me about your situation," Carlos said, shaking Maya's hand warmly. "I'm very sorry about what happened with your home." "Thank you," Maya replied, appreciating his direct acknowledgement rather than awkward sympathy. "Jen thought your program might be something we should look into." "I'd be happy to explain how it works," Carlos offered. "But first, who are these young people?" Maya introduced Ethan and Lily, who regarded Carlos with the cautious interest children reserve for new adults in their lives. "Do either of you like to build things?" Carlos asked them. "I made a birdhouse at school," Ethan volunteered. "And I help Mom fix stuff around the house sometimes." "I built a castle with blocks that was taller than me," Lily added, not to be outdone. Carlos nodded seriously. "Those are excellent qualifications. We could use skilled builders like you on our team." Both children straightened a little at this, and Maya felt a surge of gratitude for Carlos's natural way with them. "Why don't you check out the model homes over there?" Carlos suggested, pointing to a table where several detailed architectural models were displayed. "They show what we're planning to build in the next phase. Your mom and I need to talk about some boring grown-up details." As the children hurried off, supervised by Jen, Carlos guided Maya to a quieter corner of the room. "Jennifer mentioned you're staying with her temporarily?" Maya nodded. "We're making it work, but it's not a long-term solution. Her apartment is barely big enough for one person, let alone four." "And you're working 2 jobs?" "Administrative assistant at Westridge Community College during the week, and I do catering gigs on weekends. It's enough to pay the bills, but saving for a down payment on another house." Maya shook her head. "Especially in this market, it feels impossible." "That's exactly the gap our program is designed to fill," Carlos explained. Build Up works on a sweat equity model. Participants contribute a minimum of 300 hours of labor toward the construction of their home and others in the program. That labor counts as your down payment. "But I don't know anything about construction," Maya pointed out. "Neither do most of our participants when they start," Carlos assured her. "We provide all the training you need, and professional builders supervise every step. You'll learn everything from framing to finishing work." As Carlos outlined the program details, Maya found herself both intrigued and intimidated. The time commitment was significant, at least 20 hours per week for approximately 9 months. The homes were modest but well-designed for energy efficiency and durability. And the financial arrangement was structured to ensure affordability, with mortgage payments capped at 30% of the homeowner's income. "It sounds almost too good to be true," Maya said cautiously. "What's the catch?" Carlos smiled. "The catch is that it's hard work, physically and emotionally. Building a home takes persistence, especially when you're balancing it with jobs and family responsibilities. Not everyone who starts the program finishes it. But those who do." He gestured around the room, where photos of smiling families standing in front of newly completed homes lined the walls. "They don't just get a house. They get skills, confidence, and a community that supports each other." Maya studied the photos, noting the pride in the homeowners' faces. "How competitive is the application process?" "Very," Carlos admitted. "We have far more applicants than spots available. But your situation, a single parent displaced by development, aligns with our mission to combat gentrification and preserve community stability." By the time they rejoined Ethan and Lily, who were enthusiastically describing their favorite model home to Jen, Maya had made her decision. She would apply for the Build Up program, despite the daunting challenges it presented. The worst they could say was no, and after losing her home, Maya was no longer afraid of rejection. The application process was rigorous. Maya submitted financial documents, wrote essays about her motivation and commitment, and attended multiple interviews, some with just her, others including Ethan and Lily. The children, initially confused about why they needed to answer questions about their mother, gradually became excited about the possibility of helping build their new home. "Do I get to use a real hammer?" Lily asked one evening as Maya tucked her into bed in Jen's room. "If you're very careful and have a grown-up helping you," Maya replied, smoothing her daughter's hair. "But there will be lots of jobs that don't involve hammers too." "Like what?" "Well, someone needs to make sure the workers have water and snacks," Maya suggested. "And someone needs to keep track of all the tools and materials." Lily considered this. "I could do that. I'm good at organizing. Miss Peterson always picks me to be line leader at school." That's true, Maya agreed, kissing her forehead. You're very responsible. Mom. Lily's voice grew serious. Are we really going to build a whole house? By ourselves. Not by ourselves, Maya explained. We'll be working with professionals who know exactly what to do. And other families who are building their houses too. It's like a team project. Like when we made that volcano for Ethan's science fair? Maya laughed, remembering the papier-mâché disaster that had erupted all over their kitchen table. A little bit, but hopefully with less mess. As Lily drifted off to sleep, Maya found herself wondering if she was giving her children false hope. The build-up program was highly selective, and there was no guarantee they would be chosen. But something about the process, about taking active steps toward a solution rather than simply reacting to their loss, felt empowering in a way Maya hadn't experienced in years. 3 weeks after submitting their application, Maya's phone rang while she was between classes at the community college. The caller ID showed Riverside Community Action Network. Hello? She answered, her heart suddenly racing. Maya Wilson? This is Carlos Rodriguez from Build Up. Maya braced herself for rejection. Yes, hello Carlos. I'm calling to let you know that your family has been selected for our next building cohort. For a moment, Maya couldn't speak. We got in. You did, Carlos confirmed, his smile audible in his voice. The selection committee was particularly impressed by your personal statement and by Ethan and Lily's enthusiasm during the family interview. We believe you'll be a valuable addition to our build-up community. Tears sprang to Maya's eyes as Carlos explained next steps. An orientation the following weekend, skills assessment sessions, and the groundbreaking ceremony scheduled for the first Saturday in April, just 3 weeks away. Thank you, Maya managed when he finished. This opportunity means more than I can express. You earned it, Carlos replied simply. Now the real work begins. That evening, Maya took Ethan and Lily to their favorite pizza place to celebrate the news. As they sat in a booth by the window, Ethan peppered her with questions about the construction process, while Lily drew elaborate pictures of their future home, complete with a tree house and swimming pool that Maya gently explained weren't part of the plan. But we can have our own rooms again, right? Ethan asked, a hint of vulnerability breaking through his usual stoic demeanor. Yes, Maya assured him. 3 bedrooms, just like our old house. But this one will be brand new, and no one can take it away from us. Promise. Lily looked up from her drawing, her expression serious. Maya met her daughter's gaze, understanding the fear behind the question. There,